Hello guys, welcome to another tier maker tier list. What we're going to be doing here today, again gaming related. I may branch out soon and do ones that aren't gaming related, by the way, guys. This is a follow-up to the very first one I did, which was on Tekken 2 characters. Although to be fair, no, the very first one I did was ranking all 151 OG Pokemon. But anyway, I ranked every character and put them in a tier list for Tekken 2 characters within that game. Now this one's a bit different. It's just my favourite Tekken character, basically, of the whole series. We've got every single character that's been in, allegedly. Looking through it, I feel like there should be more. I don't know. Maybe they are all there. I assume they are. Anyway, yeah, we've got all of them, and basically this is going to be just a tier list of how much I love them or not. So we've got God tier, A, B, C, D, and the main actual one just don't care. There's certain characters I don't know much about. I don't know. I've played every Tekken game actually, but there's some characters I've just never really tried out or used much, or just didn't give a shit about. They'll mainly be on the later games because there just ends up being so many characters that, say for example, Tekken 7. I only tried about 6 or 7 different characters. Like seriously, tried with them. Yoshimitsu, Paul, King, etc. Law, Kazuya. Your OGs. I'm very much an OG fan, so like there will be. I imagine the older characters will be higher up. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, explaining too much, but just try and just give a few lines and go through all of them. Akuma was in Tekken 7, ported to Tekken 7, of course, in the Street Fighter series. I don't think he was quite as good as in the Tekken series as he was in what was the Street Fighter debut? Was it Street Fighter 2? Turbo, like a new class or something like that. I don't know. It was in the later ones of T-Hawk and that, I think. But Akuma's a video game legend, so in terms of favourites, in terms of Tekken characters, I'd rank him lower. I'm just gonna put him in A. He was alright in Tekken. I wasn't great with him. I wasn't bad with him. But like just because it's Akuma, he's going high. I fucking love him. Alex is, oh my god, Alex is definitely high. I fucking love Alex. He goes in A tier for sure. Not quite amongst my select favourites, but I was buzzing when Alex came back for Tekken's Tag 2. He was, of course, originally in Tekken 2 and the original Tekken Tag. A clone swap of Roger, and Roger ended up being a main character and coming back a lot more than Alex did. So Roger got the nod in that regard, and was probably going to be higher amongst my favourites than Alex. But Alex had a really cool moveset. Definitely deserves to be an A. He's one of the OGs. Elisa Boskonovich. I kind of don't like the gimmick in that. Just her character's so Japanese waifu, like OTT. It annoys me sometimes. You know? And they're trying to like, people are trying to like ship her and Lars or something, and it's like, yeah, she's a fucking robot about that. But Elisa has a fucking badass moveset that's so cool. Everything about her moveset. I did like using Elisa. When I did the Tekken 6 story mode, if I remember, I think you could play as anyone plus Lars and Lisa or something. I don't know. Or anyone plus Elisa. You play as Elisa a bit on that, and she's fucking sick. Her moves are so good. I think Elisa deserves to be an A tier for sure. Lower down the other two for now. But amongst my favourite characters to use, I think she has the best moveset, or some of the best moves in the game in terms of the animation, just how cool they are. Like when she drops her head on someone, turns around, it's like a bomb. She pulls out chainsaws as well, which are fucking badass. She was really, really strong character, Elisa. So in terms of like in-game attributes, it gets her up there. In terms of just the character itself, it'd be a lot lower, to be honest. But when I'm ranking my favourite character, you've got to consider both. It is a fighting game at the end of the day, and she was definitely very effective. Ogre, badass design, badass look, badass character. Should be in it more. Badass moveset, badass everything. Ogre's A tier for sure. Another character that I really miss. Just fucking awesome, man. Ogre. He was so good. I preferred him to True Ogre as well, actually, weirdly. I think a lot of people would have it vice versa, but Ogre had a smaller hitbox and stuff. True Ogre just is ugly looking at Tekken 3 to him. Takes up a bit half the screen. Yeah, preferred Ogre. I wish he was in more games than he was. He's only in Tekken 3 and both Tekken tags, I think. A lot of these early characters are ranking high. So you've got a lot of OGs here. Anna, well, it's supposed to be Angel then. Angel also goes in A tier, I think. Probably there. I think I'd rank Ogre ahead. Angel's just Kazuya with obvious mistakes. And Kazuya's moveset's fucking sick. He's very good. Kazuya's always been one of the strongest in the roster. Like, you're talking like average ranking in each game. Kazuya's probably behind only Heihachi for that. And yeah, as a result, Angel, again, one of the OGs in my favourite game of the series, Tekken 2, in both Tekken tags. Angel's pretty high. Anna is, again, going to be A tier. Not just because she's an OG. She's got a really good moveset. She's always pretty strong. I tend to seesaw between who I prefer of Anna and Nina, to be honest. I'd be interested to see her on Kairi. Because they are basically like clone palette swaps for like the first few games. Then the movesets do diverge a bit, but they also obviously have kind of similar movesets. I get it's gonna happen in video games, but they over sexualize characters to like a cringy amount sometimes. And Anna is probably the ultimate for that. So that sometimes you see that and you just go, for fuck's sake. But still, I think Anna's always useful. A character that, say for example, if I had all these in a game and I was doing random team battle and I got characters out, would I be happy getting Anna? Yeah, for sure. So I think she's pretty solid A tier. I'm gonna rank her there though. You know what? In terms of Tekken, she's in way more games. She's got to be ahead of Akuma for me. But Akuma's just badass. He was only in one game, of course, and he's a Street Fighter character. You know, he's not a Tekken character. Armor King is gonna be the first one in God tier. I fucking love Armor King. One of my favorite characters, 100%. Every game Armor King's in, he's strong. He came back in Dark Resurrection and was in Tekken 6 and 7. Was he in 7 actually? I don't think he was. I think he was released later on. Yeah, I think it was like him, Julia, Ganryu. There was like a wave of OGs came back. Anna was one of them. But he wasn't actually in the initial roster, which was criminal, in my opinion. Although, to be fair, they have King, but you know. Armor King, like in Tekken 2, fucking badass. He had a pretty badass stage as well. He had the desert one, and the desert soundtrack seemed to fit Armor King. I love King, and I love Armor King, so he's always gonna rank high. He looks cooler than King for sure. His look is one of the best in the whole series. His comeback is one of the best. Like, it was kind of a bit jank, like Kazuya, like, you know, fighting games. The story doesn't have to make sense, but he died, then his brother comes back and it's like Armor King 2 or some shit. Just like King, actually. Although that's one of his foster kids comes back as King 2. Armor King gets two different characters, two different people, but they're listed as the same character here. And both iterations are just badass. Pretty badass endings as well. Yeah, he deserves to be God tier. Armor King is 100% one of my favourite characters in this whole series for multiple reasons. Asuka, I love Asuka. She should be really high, purely because I love Jun Kazama, and she's a pretty much Jun's replacement. She shares a lot of moves with her. One of the best characters to use for me personally. Like, if I'm talking like top 10 characters for me to in terms of my ability with them, Jun / Asuka is up there, which obviously influences my decision, but you know, that's the point. It's my personal list. Again, kind of over sexualized a bit too much, a bit like OCG Japanese, they love it. She's kind of annoying actually as a character, to be honest. More than Jun, who's just kind of like chill. Asuka's a bit like a brat, kind of the character, and I don't really dig that much. But they kind of diverged away from this story anyway, and it is a fighting game. It's just about how effective they are. She's very effective. And yeah, I was just really glad to see her in the series. If we're not going to have Jun, it's the second best thing. Beck, I have a great deal of love for Beck. More than Hwarang. I don't know why, but I don't like Hwarang. It's because so many people like. He's one of the fan favorite characters, and I just never understood why. Beck, I'm gonna put B tier. He is an OG, so that works out for him. He's also like what I'd call a beginner character. Like any cunt can pick up a control and plays Beck. All you do is spam kicks. But I don't know. I've never had much personality. He ends up dying in the series as well, or some shit. Azazel kill a bunch of people or something at the end of it. That's the point. What the fuck's Azazel? See, like, not every character is in this shit. It was called Azazel, okay, I don't know. Bro, what the fuck is that, by the way, next to Devil Jin? Some of these characters I don't fucking know. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna put Beck B tier. Like, probably end up low. You know, I'm C tier. It's just a bit meh. I don't mind using him. He's got a pretty cool look. Yeah, never really been that bothered. He's just kind of there. Neither like nor dislike, really. Bob is decent, actually. He's in fact, like, from a fighting game standpoint, he's one of the best characters, actually, Bob. His moveset's pretty sick. He's very effective. You see it in the tournaments, a lot of people use Bob. The gimmicky character, I actually probably prefer Beck as a character to Bob. But I think he deserves to be in B tier. It's just, he suffers a bit because he's only introducing like the more modern games. I think he's only in 6, Tag 2 and 7. And even then in Tag 2, I think he's like, Slim Bob or some shit. Yeah, just because of his sick moveset, I'll put him in B tier. It's also kind of a good thing as well that they put that character who's fat in the game. Just to show, it doesn't matter. It's nice to have like diversity in fighting games, I guess. So it's kind of progressive for that. Like, it's not the first time it's happened, obviously. You have people like Rufus in Street Fighter, for example. Bruce is definitely A tier. Again, an OG. Love a bit of Bruce. He's fun to use. In fact, I'm putting him in gold tier. Yeah. Bruce, definitely, if I were to get him in team battle, I would be buzzing about. Really good with Bruce. He has a sick moveset. Not much character to him, per se. He's not really featured much in terms of like the storyline arc. He was like Kazuya's bodyguard or something. The film did him dirty. He like punches Jack too and just gets fucked up. I'm talking about the animated film there. It's the only one worth watching, to be honest. The actual films are shit. But anyway, Bruce, pretty solid. Again, he had a really good stage in Tekken 2 as well. Back when they had personalised stages, and soundtracks, I do not know why they don't do it anymore. The game's soulless compared to the old ones. They should definitely bring that shit back. Brian as well. Brian again is one of my favourite characters, 100%. He's going second there. Ahead of Bruce, but behind AK. He's just sick in every regard. He's, of all of the ones we've seen so far, Brian's probably the most interesting character of all of them, I'd say. I love his story. Yeah, I'm putting him over AK. I can't believe I'm doing that, but the more I think about it, his rivalry with Yoshimitsu's actually, like, it kind of came out of nowhere a bit. They're linked by Boskonovich, but it was fucking sick. They had really badass endings. He has a sick moveset. Yeah, every ending of Brian's kind of always ends up with him like laughing amongst flames. Oh, it's badass, man. His endings are sick. He's got a Gatling gun. He's just cool as fuck. Look at his mask. Even his look. Like, oh, I love Brian. He's spot. Christy Montero is just an Eddie clone, basically, like Tiger Jackson. Not more to say. Just leave it in C tier. Everything I say about Christy, I'll be saying about Eddie. So, but yeah, we'll get to Eddie. If you want to hear a kind of a summation of Christy, then fast forward to where it gets to Eddie. Claudio here in Tekken 7 was one of the new characters. I just didn't play with him much. So I'm going to leave it in a solid don't care. This don't care thing, by the way, I could put Christy in this, to be honest. Maybe I'm Beck. I was basically saying that. But I don't care. It's kind of more like I've just not used the character much enough to tell. I think he had some cool moves. Are they like a priest from Italy or something? I guess to like exercise stuff. Definitely the stage was badass. Those feature quite heavily in the story mode of Tekken 7, I think. Yeah, I just don't really have an opinion. Same with combat, really. Wasn't combat like... I can't even remember how combat plays. Is it like Mokujin? I don't know. I've used combat a bit more. Put it in D. No real opinion. Devil Jin is going to be A tier, but low, I think. Pretty badass look. Although I always preferred Devil Kazuya's look. Yeah, Devil Jin had a fucking sick look. I've been trying not to spoil it, but I'm gonna have to spoil it now. I don't hate, but I don't get Jin. Jin is just much less interesting character than Heihachi and Kazuya, like the main characters before him. The whole Jin hype thing and the focus they put on him in the games, I fucking hate. I think his moveset's shit. It's boring. It's not very good, in my opinion. Although, in the hands of someone who's good, it is. But it's just when I'm using it, I don't know. I just don't get the Jin hype train. They just tried to make another Ryu, I think, but he's nowhere near as cool as Ryu. He's just a carbon copy of him. Just a shitter Heihachi and Kazuya. Much more fascinating. I'm trashing on Jin here. He's going to end up low on my favourite list. But I'm saying this to give context to the fact that I actually like Devil Jin a hell of a lot more because he shares a lot of Kazuya's moves. He has some badass endings, badass cutscenes. Yeah, you know, I think Devil Jin's going to be a bit higher. I'm going to put him there. He kind of saves Jin a bit for me, but still, like, he's not as cool as Devil. I'm gonna guess the next one's Devil Kazumi. She was fucking badass. She was really sick, actually. She was very hard to fight. In the story mode of Tekken 7, you use Heihachi to fight against her. And fuck me, was she hard. I don't remember ever using her itself. Did you have to unlock her or something? Maybe it did. I don't know. Not used her anywhere near as much as like any of these other characters, except maybe Claudio. Still putting her high. I'll just put her there. Devil. I've got to say, I kind of hate the redesigned Devil look. I think Devil Jin looks way cooler, actually. But the original Devil look in Tekken 2, I fucking love. Now they give him all this weird looking armor, and God, he looks shit. But I love how Kazuya changes into him in Tekken Tag 2, for example. His moveset's sick. Just the concept, the character, I loved. It was kind of Jekyll and Hyde, Kazuya. He had Angel and Devil on his shoulder either side, and Devil was the boss of my favourite Tekken game, Tekken 2. Deserves to be high for that. I'm going to put him Ogre or Devil in there. Tekken Tag endings, they fight each other, I think. And I was always kind of rooting for Devil, so I think that definitively gives him the nod. I'm going to pull Asuka back. Just don't think she's as cool a character as some of the others. Just put her there. Dr. Boskonovich was kind of fun to use. He's a bit meh, though, isn't he? He serves his purpose mainly in the story by his creative brain. He fixed Yoshimitsu up, his friendship with him. creator of a number of other things, including, of course, Elisa Boskonovich, which is like his daughter or some shit. Yeah, he's a bit meh. I'll put him in D because he's kind of a gimmick joke character. But I put him ahead of Combo. Dragonov I really liked. Kind of a classic silent, brooding Russian, like tough guy, made of iron kind of thing. Dragonov. His moveset's fucking sick. He's so good to use. Brought in Tekken Dark Resurrection, 5DR. I used him. He probably became a main in that game. I mainly got that game because Armor King was back, but Dragonov was just probably even better. Yeah, I really like Dragonov. I quite like his look, his aesthetic. He doesn't do a huge amount of story, but I mean, it's just kind of just about the Mishimas and the Kazamas, isn't it? I guess. So what can he do? Oh, I'm gonna rank him high. I'm gonna put him there. What if Devil Gene actually? Fuck, how does Suka? Yeah, Dragonov's high up. I like Dragonov. Eddie, like I said, it's just a better Christie. Kind of a bitch to fight against. He's a bit of a gimmick, just kick spam artist. But he was so good when he first came out. It was novel. I think it was the first fighting game to have a capoeira character in as well. So I put him in B. He should be ahead of Bob. But yeah, no higher than B. But he inspired Christie and Tiger. Like, you don't need a couple of palette swap characters for Eddie. He's already OP. I just don't really like how spammy he is, like I said. So yeah, fucking. Elisa was, I think, a downloadable character in Tekken 5. I only used her a handful of times. She was actually quite good. She had some good moves. She's a vampire, I think. But you kind of already had, like, Devil with the horns and shit, so I think it'd have been more effective if you didn't have that. Not much more to say. We'll put Elisa in B. I quite like the character when he used her, like, a good measure of whether you like characters. He used her for a couple of matches and then was like, yeah, I'll carry on. I'll grind out a few moves. I'll go and practice for a couple of hours and try and learn some. So, you know, it brought me into the character. So she makes it to B tier, but she's not been in a series long enough to make any real impact. In fact, I'm gonna put a high C, I think. Actually, we're gonna drop both of these back to C tier as well, you know. And maybe Elisa down to. No, actually, Elisa should be an A. Yeah, no one a B tier. But I don't even know who this is. We got Feng next. Elisa and Feng. Who the fuck's that? Let me zoom in. I didn't download a single character in Tekken 7 online. I guess this is a new character because I do not know. So don't care. Don't know who you are, pal. Feng. I don't know why, but I'm not massive on the character himself. But he's fucking sick, like to use. I think mid ground. I'm gonna meet her halfway and put him B tier. He's one of the best characters online. I think in like the tournaments. I'm pretty sure he's used quite widely, along with like Dragonov, etc., and Jin and so on. His moveset's pretty good. He doesn't really say much. He's kind of another one like Dragonov, just silent assassin kind of thing. This Feng Shui master, or like Shaolin monk or whatever the fuck he is. It's called is it Chinese Kenpo? I think he's mastering that. But he's just a knockoff Wang, in my opinion. That knockoff Wang. It's just out of context. That sounds a bit grim. A replacement porn star. Anyway, next up, Law. This is much more like it. Finally back to character. An OG. He's amongst my favourites, Law. He's one of the best. He's based off Bruce Lee, for one. Like, what more can you want? Obviously, Street Fighter got there first with Feng. Feng Lei was his name. I don't remember that. Something like that. But yeah, like he's one of the OGs. I don't think he's as interesting. I hate that they kind of made him this comedy fucking fall guy, like this dumbass. Not as bad as Paul. Actually, Paul was the main one. They kind of made this stupid twat. Like slapstick comedy. They kind of have Law fall back on it. They also took him out for a few games weren't Forest Law, and I get why they did, but I'd still rather just have Marshall throughout, or just stick with Forest once you bring him in. So I think both laws are marked under one character there because of that. Yeah, it's sick. It's really good in Tekken 2. One of the best characters in 1 and 2, actually. Kind of took a backseat a bit in terms of story, but he's still one of the best characters to use. In terms of character, I have to put him behind Bruce, Armor King, and Brian because he is just Bruce Lee, basically. So there's not much character that's unique to him. But he's one of my favourites, Law. I have a lot of love for Law. I don't know who this is. The next one. I don't know why. Again, maybe this is one of the newer characters. Not got a fucking clue who you are. Is that Gamryu? What it's supposed to be? Like a new Gamryu. Is he elsewhere on this list? Because I've not seen him yet, actually. I should have done. It's supposed to be in alphabetical order, these fuckers. Oh, that was Forest Law. Where's Marshall? Oh shit, isn't he? Okay, that's Forest Law. Fucking hell. Yeah, just a bit meh. Purely because he's just a complete clone, and I'm ranking clones lower. We're just gonna put him in C tier. I don't think it really matters where he's ranked right now. Like I'd have him ahead of Christie, etc. But it doesn't really matter. It's just a replacement Marshall. Marshall will have the real ranking, so I'm just gonna slam him in there now. Actually, it's 27 minutes in. I meant to do this quicker, guys. I'm gonna stop explaining so much and try and speed up. Where's Marshall? There we go. Moseying him on up. So he's back where Forrest was. That is Geese Howard. I didn't play as Geese at all. I remember seeing the announcement. I think he's from Final Fight, is it? Which I've never played. I've never played any game using Geese Howard. He looked really sick. His character, his moves, I saw like the teaser trailer, he looked pretty badass. But I kind of, I should just change this. Never really used. Oh, I wouldn't say I don't care. I just never used them to make a judgment. Gygas, I had no fucking care for at all. I did use Gygas. I don't even know what it's supposed to be. I think it's Marduk is the theory. It's under there. I like the bomb. Kind of a shitty moveset. Not much use. Gon was fun to use in Tekken 3, but again, you just need to be low. I'm gonna put him higher up though. It was really small, so it's kind of hard to hit people sometimes. It was hard to hit him. Just gimmick that isn't really like. It's memorable, but it isn't like in the Alex or Roger kind of category. Hey, actually, 100% right at the top for now, anyway. At least, like I don't have a plan in mind here. It might change, but hey, actually, fucking hell, I love him. The main boss of Tekken 1, pretty much the main protagonist of Tekken 2, main boss of Tekken 3, main boss of Tekken 4. One of the main bosses of Tekken 7, the kind of the focus of the story, I think, is mainly on Heihachi. He's arguably the main character of the series up to that point where, spoiler alert, I'll let you turn off if you want. He dies at the end of Tekken 7. And he'll be missed big time, although they'll probably find a fucking way to bring him back, let's face it. Sick character, man. Legendary character. His look is kind of looks so stupid, but I don't know why. I love it. I love his little sounds he makes. His moveset's sick. I prefer Kazuya's, but his moveset's still really good. It's a great character. He's one of the 2 or 3 people I think of first when I think Tekken is Heihachi. Hwarang, for reasons I said before, I'm not a massive fan of. I'd rank him down low and C, to be honest. Just I don't have a lot of love for characters who are knockoffs of others, with the exception of Armor King, because look at him, he's just sick. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people's reactions to Hwarang, like he just seemed to be one of the biggest fan favourites for some reason. They kind of focused on him a lot. His rivalry with Jin seems really forced and just a bit like it took a backseat, but they still try and push it. And Jin's like, oh, you know, go away. Bigger fish to fry kind of thing. I think that did detriment to his character. His movesets, again, spammy, not really interesting, just kick and hope for the best, basically. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of love. And then they try and do other stuff. Oh, let's blind him and give him an eye patch, make him interesting, dye his hair. No, you're still boring, Brian. GTFO. Jack, I guess every Jack is represented in this. Jack on the whole is one of my favourite characters, 100% A tier. Question is where? I think Jack's a more legendary robot than Lisa, although Lisa has a better moveset. Jacks don't have much character, of course, they don't speak or anything, but the game gave him character with like Jane and that, and the cutscenes and all that shit. There's also Gunjack. Gunjack was the coolest of all the Jacks for sure. One of the coolest characters in Tekken 3, which has an amazing buster. So yeah, I think I'd put Jack pretty high. I think he's got to be ahead of Akuma because he's an OG. But behind all the others, yeah, Kazumi should be way lower though. Put it there. Kazumi can't be ahead of other characters who've been in the game like longer. Do I prefer the Jacks to Anna? Yeah, I do. He should be higher than all these, really. Because it's all the Jacks. You know, I'm gonna put him in. He makes it to God tier. He's been in every game. Like an iteration of him. There's only Nina, Heihachi, Paul, and the Jacks that have been in every game, I think. Yoshimitsu. I know there's only 4 characters been in every game. I can't think. Maybe Jack 4 wasn't in the game? In Tekken 4? No, Tekken 4 is weird. But anyway, like, he deserves to be up there, just at the lowest. JC is Julia on here separately? She is. It's basically Julia. Never used her a great deal actually. She featured kind of heavily in the Tekken Tag 2, like promotional stuff. Had a pretty sick moveset, but just didn't use her enough. But I could tell she was cool. I'm gonna put her in B tier. I love characters that have wrestling type moves in this game. It's not necessarily work out that way. Like Zangief's one of my least favorite Street Fighter 2 characters of SF2. You know, the standard of it. Still love Zangief, but you know, it's not that they're just anyone with a wrestling move is gonna be cool in the fighting game. But all the ones in Tekken are fucking badass. But spoiler alert, Julia will be higher than this. I just can't put JC ahead of Julia because I've not used her anywhere near as much. We'll put her ahead of Feng though. Jinpachi, again, he became unlockable by Tekken Tag 2. We didn't actually use him a lot. Only really have more experience fighting against him, but he was pretty sick. Just a replacement Heihachi basically, wasn't he, for that game? He is Heihachi's dad. He had the weird ass little like eye thing, like spike thing in his belly. But he was like one of the most OP bosses ever. And I think deserves to be an A tier. I think I'll just put him lower down though, because I probably used him less than all of these. You know, Kazumi should be lower than all of them though. Jinpachi was cooler than Kazumi. Jin, like I said, I don't really get the hype much. He was very, very good actually in Tekken 3. To be fair, in Tekken 3 and Tag 1, I fucking loved Jin. He was one of my favourite characters. because he was basically a cross between Kazuya's moveset and Jun's, and they're two of my favourite and best characters across all of Tekken. But from Tekken 4 onwards, I kind of hated his whole story and his moveset and stuff. So that takes away from. I'm going to put him in B tier, but higher than the others. But nowhere near as good as Devil Jin. Devil Jin was kind of a nod and a throwback, I think, to old Jin when he was more, a mix of Kazuya and Jun, and his style's just plain karate. Like, yeah, he just became a shit really. The fuck's this character again? Oh, what was her name? She was like a rip-off Bruce. Josie, that was her name. Yeah, she was just a fucking knock-off Bruce. I'd sooner have Bruce in Tekken 7. They didn't bring him in. No real opinion on Josie. I did use her a fair bit. She was actually really good. Like, character to use in terms of moveset and stuff. She's not been in enough games. I'm going to put her even down Christy, I think. Julia, one of my favourite characters to use. She's a really underrated moveset. I said this in Tekken 2. My main in Tekken 2 is Michelle. I prefer Michelle to Julia, but that's just because I prefer the OG characters. Like I said, I'm not massive usually on characters that are clones. But actually, Julia's been in the game much longer than Michelle. Been in more games as well. The character kind of gets a bit old sometimes in terms of like, oh, save the forest, and she did a forest regeneration, and then they kind of ran out of ideas and reinvented her as like this vlogger, like wannabe YouTuber kind of thing, and I was just like, what? That doesn't really seem to fit the character. Like the redesign was a bit for me. But anyway, set to say, very interesting as well. Like it's one of the most unique movesets in the whole game, I think. Michelle and Julia's. She's definitely A tier, 100%. The only question is where. She's one of my favourite characters. I think I'm going to put her right at the top of this list there, Julia. I'm a fan, although she'd have probably been God tier, but she fell back, because she was also my main in Tekken 5. I think they're the only two games where Michelle/Julia are my main, but she was my main in Tekken 5. She was really good in that. Jun was one of my mains in Tekken 2, which is my favourite game, and arguably my main in Tekken Tag. I love Jun, one of the best characters for sure. Very memorable look, character, she's relevant to the story. She's one of the most memorable stages in Tekken 2. It's set in England, so shout out to Jun there. She's repping English, Windermere. Yeah, she's in Legendary tier for me. There's not been as many games as Lauren are. I mean, I'm talking personal favourites here though. I'm going too much in. If we're talking personal favourites for me, I'm gonna put it there, I think. If they're both in the game, if they're all in the same game, it's who I'm gonna go to first, actually. I should be considering, and I'd probably put on number 1 though. Yeah, fuck it. I love Jun as a character, she's sick. Next one, who the fuck is this? This was one of the new characters. Probably begins with K. Or J. Okay. I have no idea. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. I played as this character a couple of times on the new characters, but I haven't played Tekken 7 in like 2.5 years now. And I have no clue. So, yeah, bit meh. Kazumi used fair bit. She had a pretty sick moveset. She pulled out tigers and all sorts. She doesn't go beyond C tier in my opinion. I'm gonna put her down about here though. Kazuya, get an S tier, bro. One of the OGs, one of the main characters. In terms of my favourite characters, I think he's top for now. Best character to use in Tekken, the first Tekken, until you unlock Heihachi. The The most memorable stage and theme, I would say, in Tekken 2, which is my favourite game, and he's the best character in that, in terms of just being OP. He's not in Tekken 3, of course, to bring him back in Tekken 4. Decision to bring him back, I can see why they did it, but it was kind of a bit like, really? You know, like, oh, he just survived a volcano. Okay. But what's not to love? He's fucking sick. His look's sick. He's kind of got a bit of Vegeta look about him. He's got like one red eye, which I fucking love. His scars are badass. His moveset's badass. He's got a fucking duster. He's just a bad man. He's everything Jin, the game wishes Jin would be. Oh boy, wow, we've had some sick characters in a row here, boy. King. I would say King is my single favourite Tekken character of them all. On average, across all the games, King's probably the character I'm best with. You know, there's certain games I don't like certain characters as much in. Like, say, for example, in Tekken 1, I don't actually like using... To be fair, in Tekken 1, King's not that good. Whatever. Like all the others, he's just a bad man. I love his moves, his style. He has so many different grapples. He has more variations of like grapples and chains than like a lot of characters just have movesets in their command list, full stop. Like if you go in a command list, Kings will be about 280, about 180 of them are just throws and shit. Which, you know, it's so fun learning King and using him. He was my main in Tekken 6 and Tekken 7. Probably my best character in Tag 1 and 2 as well, I'd say. I don't know about 1 actually. That was probably Jin. I don't know. But anyway, like definitely more in the more modern games, he's became my main and was really good. Not many people use King, but I used to fucking do bits online with him. On tournaments and stuff. And yeah, I just fucking love him. Absolutely love King. He is one of the first characters I think of when I think of the series. Kuma's an OG. Gonna put. I'm taking too long to explain again. There's so many characters still here, guys. You forget how many there are. There's probably a fucking 100 here. So I'm just gonna speed through it now. Kuma, OG. Bit gimmicky though. I think Kazumi should be much lower, by the way. Devil Kazumi. The more I think about it. Just put it right there. Kuma, I'm gonna put there. Kunimitsu, just a bit of a rip off of Yoshimitsu, but is one of the OGs. Like when he brought it back, the moveset was a bit more varied. Pretty cool actually. Kunimitsu's a solid B tier there. I don't know who the fuck this is. Is this like another version of Kunimitsu? Like a newer version of her, maybe? Whatever. Just put them next to each other. Laws never really have much fun. I think it's just an unnecessary character. Like, why do you have to bring in another Mishima? He's basically what fucking Lee was initially. And I think Lee's like I much prefer Lee. He had a decent-ish moveset. I wasn't very good with him, but he did have a cool moveset, and in the right hands is really good. Yeah, it was just kind of a pointless character in my opinion. Just gonna put him low B tier, I think, or high C actually. Kind of daddy. Lee's one of my favourite characters. Definitely going to God tier. Lee, after King, is probably like the character I'm best at on average across the whole games. There's not a single game that Lee's in where he's like not good in. He's strong in all of them. His character's like a bit of a joke sometimes. Like again, like Paul, they kind of making the butt of jokes. And he kind of stopped having like a relevance to the main storyline. It never really even references him being part of the Mishimas a lot until like fucking because he's like Heihachi's adopted son until like fucking Tekken 6 I think. And then yeah, he kind of gets like Violet as a clone and stuff. It sometimes detracts from just having fucking Lee there. But one of my favourite characters, 100%. He deserves to be there. Don't know who that is. Is that supposed to be Lei? Long, like the modern Lei. I think it is. Because I think he did come back as a DLC character, but obviously I didn't get it. Lei I never really liked using a huge amount, so he falls back a lot there. I'm coming up in B tier. Is that Leo? Barely used that character, don't really care. Don't know who this is. You can go back. Lily, it was kind of fun to use, I just kind of hate the character. So in terms of personal favourites, how good she is to use. So moveset was really fucking good in my opinion. Gets much higher up the list than she probably should be. But the character's annoying as fuck, so I'm gonna leave in C tier. Lucky Chloe, oh my god, just a pointless Eddie clone, I think. Never really liked the character much. Put me in D tier. Marduk, it's kind of okay-ish moveset, but I don't really like him much. I'm gonna leave him in C tier. The only question is where. I'm gonna zoom this out a bit, by the way. Marduk, where you go? You can go there. Head of Laws. He was only in a few games, Marduk. Is that Master Raven thing? It's the rip-off of Raven. Had no opinion. Brought into Tekken 7 as a Raven port, basically. Don't really know why they did that, because Raven was only in like Tekken 5 and 6. So he still deserved like a longer run, I guess. But it's just one of the characters in Tekken 7 where like when it's brought in, I was like, you're not having Armor King or Julia or Anna in the fucking original lineup, but you've got Master Raven. Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Which said a lot. Michelle, one of my favourites, 100%. The main in my favourite Tekken game. She's really good in Tekken 1 as well. One of the 8 characters I'd pick on a team battle in Tekken Tag 2. Well, I meant Tekken Tag 2 TOO then, but yeah, Tekken Tag 1 and Tekken Tag 2 as well. Michelle's probably my favourite female character in the whole series, but I'd put her behind Kazuya, Lee and Paul, Lee and King. Miguel I never really used much, don't have much of an opinion on him. Maybe in C tier, about here. Miharu never really used a great deal, just a port of Xiao Yu basically, I think. I don't even know. Put in not used. Mokujin, of course, it's difficult to rank Mokujin. It's just a random character. It's just a random spawn each round who you're gonna get. But I don't know why. I love using him. I love the character. It's so random. In the game, they were like, oh, let's put a tree in. It's just like a mirror thing, like Wobbuffet, basically. But I liked Mokujin. I think I'll put him in B tier at the bottom there. Fuck you, Fang. Go into a Fang. Negan from The Walking Dead came in, never used him. Never even watched The Walking Dead, so I have no opinion. Nina, of course, is a legendary character. I think she's only going to make A tier, but she's one of the game's legends. Probably the most iconic female character in the series. Nina. In fact, I don't think that's disputable. She is she's also in Soul Calibur, is she? I know Yoshima to it. I think she actually got a spin-off as well, Nina. She's one of the characters who got a spin-off game. It says a lot. Never like using her a huge amount. But she's definitely effective. She deserves to be ahead of some of my personal favourites. Let me think. What about there? I don't know what the fuck this is. Begin with N probably. God knows. Panda. Ugh. Getting detail. Just a shit Kuma. Like, what the fuck is it wear? Like, why? The Japanese love, like, inverted commas, cutesy characters a lot. But it's just sickly sometimes, to be quite honest. Paul, it's not in C tier. He's moving all the way up. Right here, boys. Do I put him ahead of Lee? I always knew mid top 5 would end up looking like this. It just depends on the order. It's always going to be King, Lee, Paul, Kazuya, Michelle, I think. I think I will put Paul in it 2, you know. I think in terms of all 5 of those characters, he's probably the best of all of them, actually. I tell a lie, I was like, oh, King on average is probably the best character in Tekken. Paul's not weak in any of them. Paul's probably the best protagonist player to use, actually, in terms of ability on Tekken 1. Ahead of even of Kazuya, maybe. Yeah, they kind of made him a bit of a comedy joke, like a dumbass, rather than like, I guess his gimmicks. He's kind of just like the all-American kid, isn't he? In the first one, it's just Ken, his fucking red gi with his blonde hair, Ken / Guile. The look. But they kind of made Lee a bit of a dumbass as well. I'm popping Paul at second, I think. P-Jack, not much more to say. Got to be behind Jack because of the sheer amount of Jacks. But I did actually always like P-Jack. I like the design. I was buzzing they brought him back for Tekken Tag 2. Some of his unique moves are pretty cool. So, amongst all the clones in the game, he actually ranks really highly. I'm going to put him there, I think. I don't think he should be ahead of Anna or Alex, etc. Raven, I've got not much of an opinion. I think ahead of Master Raven. I did use Raven a bit, but I'm going to leave him pretty low on C tier. He's at least an original. He could and should have been so cool, man. He looked like Blade. He was like this ninja fucker. Kind of a bit of a rip of Yoshimitsu in that regard, but like, he was in the intro of Tekken 5, which is one of the best intros in this whole series, in my opinion. And he made like a badass debut in that. He kills one of the Jacks and he's like, oh, Heihachi Machine is dead. And I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna be a beast. And he just kind of disappears from the story. Yeah, he's just in C tier. He's pretty cool, but not much to write home about in terms of moveset or anything. I'm gonna put him there, I think. He's second there. Don't know who that is. Something after R. Surprised how many of these characters I don't know or just can't identify. Roger is one of my favourite characters, 100%. I don't even know why. I love kangaroos. They're one of my favourite animals. He was in Tekken 2 and Tag and 5 and Tag 2, which are like probably my 4 favourite Tekkens actually as well. So I loved Roger. I'm gonna put him high. Fuck, I'm gonna put a legendary tier. Jack. Sebastian, just getting D tier, mate. Shaheen was really good actually. I used him a bit. In Tekken 7. I'm gonna put him about there. He had a pretty good moveset. He barely ever had a move that actually hit down though, which is really fucking weird. So like, all he has to do is kind of like back duck. But like, I remember him being pretty useful. Like, he'd still like be able to sweep opponents, get them off the feet, and then he'd do bits. Don't remember much of his character, like his story or anything like that, though, which leads me to believe he wasn't particularly memorable. So that's why he's on his C tier. He wasn't in the game long enough. I have no idea who this is. Slim Bob. Never really. There's no point for even ranking him because we've got Bob there. Steve Fox. I like Steve. Pretty good. Question is, where's he go? I think high B tier. Put him there. Head of Jin. Put behind Lay. Fuck. With Lay. I think Jin Pachi should be lower. I'll put him there. Tetsujin, it's just no point ranking. Just refer to Mokujin, guys. Same with Tiger. Trioga, we'll put in A tier. But right at the bottom, I think. Again, just refer to Oga, what I talked about there. Unknown is just basically Jun. Badass design, badass cinematics in Tekken Tag and Tekken Tag 2 when they bring it in Unknown. So yeah, I mean, I guess I could rank Unknown. She just fights like Mokujin though, but you could press R3 I think while fighting and changes someone else. So it's kind of like just a character deserves to be in C tier at the bottom. I don't think there's much value in ranking Unknown. It's kind of like a blank slate of a character and mirror. Same with Violet. Not even going to bother ranking because we have our ranking for Lee, and it's just Lee. Okay, now it gets interesting again. So we had a long what's that? We had a long run of people I don't even know. This one I don't even know or have an opinion on. Zafina. I'm gonna get rid of this shit one first. Zafina, never used much. She had a bit of a style like a spider. Yeah, it's just pretty shitty. Put her a D tier there though. She's better than Gygus. Wang, here we go. It's more like it. Wang, one of the OGs. She had a lot of moves with Michelle, who was really good with. I always liked Wang. I like his story, I like his look. He's high. He's definitely high up. I'm gonna put him second in A tier there. He dies at the end of Tekken 6, I think. One of the characters that dies. And definitely deserves his place amongst the legends of this game, really. Xiao Yu, the game plays Xiao Yu a lot of attention. It's like a love story with Jin or something that he doesn't really reciprocate back. She's kind of like the game's trying to make her to Jin what like Jun was to Kensuya, like appeal to like his good side and all this shit. I just don't really care much. Xiao Yu, she's one of them characters again. They go a bit too OTT and making her like cute. Like it seems like the Japanese sometimes, particularly like the makers of fighting games, they either make a female character quote unquote cute or sexy. Like there's no in between. And they just went, but they overdo it so bad. I just didn't really ever enjoy using Xiao Yu as well. I think her moveset's annoying as fuck. Never really good at it. I hate fighting against her. She just cartwheels about and fucks off. And that's it, you're spamming buttons trying to use her. One of them characters that I don't know so many combos for, so I'll kind of pull out a couple, then I'll just mash. And she just does fucking all sorts of weird crap. She'll just start doing cartwheels and backflips and that, and you're like, just fucking hit her, shall you? Like, come on. So, I don't have much of an opinion. She's one of the OGs, first and second free, and she's been in a lot of games since. So I think on that basis, she'd be higher than... Yeah, I think she's perfect right there, actually. Okay, last one. I saved one of the best to last. Yoshimitsu is definitely in Legendary tier. One of the characters I think of first in this game, but in every game appeared in Soul Calibur, so his appeal was beyond second. Yeah, as we approach the hour mark, seems really good timing on this. That was not intentional, but the only question left now is to where to put Yoshimitsu. He's one of my favourite characters. I think he deserves to be right there. Ahead of Brian, who has a bit of a rivalry with. but behind Heihachi. I'm not very surprised that this is the list of characters I'd legendary. Nina should be there, and Julia, I think. My favourite characters, OGs. Seeing if anyone else deserves to be in God tier here. Tempted to put Anna for a second, but I don't want to go on sentiment alone. It's about my favourite. I think Nina deserves to be there though. So yeah, we're done, guys. It doesn't surprise me. The top lists. I could have probably predicted most of these, but I didn't have a plan in mind. Some of them surprised me, others haven't. Kind of surprised Devil didn't make legendary favourites list, but yeah, the redesign took away from it. I would have predicted maybe Anna would have, but no. Once I get to ranking, I'm gonna change my mind. But anyway, this is the final rankings then, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in comments down below who you'd have amongst like your favourite Tekken characters, like who your top 10 is perhaps. Top 10 worked out as such by me. We have King, Paul, Lee, Kazuya, Michelle, Jun, Heihachi, Yoshimitsu, Brian, and Armor King. Top 10. And also on Legendary, amongst my favourite characters in the whole series, you have Bruce, Law, Roger / Roger Jr., Jack, the Jack series, Julia, Chang, and Nina Williams. An A tier of Wang, Jim Ray, Devil Kazuya, sorry. Ogre, Dragonov, Asuka, Devil Jin, Angel, Alex, Anna, P-Jack, Akuma, Elisa Voskonovich, True Ogre. B tier of Steve Fox, Lei, Jinpachi, Jin, Kuma, Kunimitsu. Don't know who the fuck that is. I'm just assuming it's another port version of Kuni, basically. JC, it's Julia, Mokujin, Feng. And 2 tier we have Eddie, Raven, Lily, Marduk, Lars, Bob, Shaheen, Eliza, Kazumi, Devil Kazumi, Beck, Forest Law, Hwarang, Xiao Yu, Miguel, Christy, what the fuck was her name again? Josie, I think her name was. This one. And then Unknown. The big Unknown. In D tier we have Gon, Dr. Boskonovich, Combat, Zafina, Gygas, Lucky Chloe, Panda, and Sebastian. And they're never really used lists. The only ones I recognise here. I think that's Ganryu, you know. Can't tell for sure. I'm going to rank Ganryu really quickly. I'm going to put him in C tier. Never really had much of an opinion of him, to be honest. Just a shit E-Honda. But I think I'm going to put him at the very top of C tier, actually. In fact, maybe behind Eddie. Yeah, I'll put him there. But the others are kind of just like palette swaps and stuff. People that didn't even care to rank. I remember this character's name now. Her name was Katrina, I think. Can't really remember much more about her though, so I'll leave it. But yeah, that's my list, guys. Went on for a lot longer than I intended this. Holy shit. But there's so many characters. I ramble a bit sometimes, well, so apologies if it was a bit long. But I hope you did enjoy it. Let me know your own lists down below, and I'll be back with another one of these guys very soon.